Bill on 531 PI.
Whakalofa lahi atu, you're listening to Pacific Mornings on 531 PI. William Teresi in the chair with you through until 9am. It's brilliant to be in your company. Now, thousands of secondary school teachers will walk off the job today, leaving high schools up and down the country shut. The strike is the latest move in a bitter standoff over pay and conditions, with the Post-Primary Teachers Association accusing the government of offering the lowest pay deal and, get this, a generation, just a 1% bump each year for the next 3 years. Teachers argue it's nowhere near enough to keep people in the profession, let alone attract new ones, especially as they grapple with incoming major NCEA reforms, ballooning workloads and classrooms that are increasingly hard to staff. Joining me now with her perspective is Porirua College Principal Ragne Maxwell. Maloelele, thank you so much for your time.
Malo, William, good to be on.
How disruptive is this strike going to be for your students today, and perhaps what message do you think this sends to the government?
I think it's always very disruptive for students to miss a day of school. They don't like that. It's not part of their routine. They're focused on their learning and they don't want that to be happening. Teachers are always extremely reluctant to go to this length, but we simply cannot keep and attract people to our profession with these sorts of pay offers.
Yeah, certainly. And the union says, as has been highlighted, the government's offer is the lowest in a generation. It's pretty cheeky. From your perspective, how serious is the pay gap in teaching right now?
Oh, it's enormous. I mean, you look at politicians over this term, they're getting 10% over the 3 years of the term, while we would get 3 at this offer. What it is essentially is a pay cut for teachers at a time where we're being asked to do more and more work, and it's simply unsustainable. Our akonga deserve the best teachers they can get, and we're not going to get this if this is how we remunerate the profession.
Yeah, certainly. Look, beyond salaries, of course, there's also talk about workload, rightfully so, and we also saw, signalled by this government, NCEA reform coming in as well. What are you seeing in terms of among your staff? Is burnout apparent?
Oh, it's very apparent. We're facing major curriculum change of the whole curriculum. We've just had announced a complete change in our NCEA system at high speed. When NCEA was introduced, it was over many years and very carefully done. They think they can get a new system in 2 years when we're already overloaded. And we're trying to make big differences for kids in terms of literacy and numeracy. And I think there's been some really good support of a literacy and numeracy strategy. We'd like to focus on the learning of students, not change that seems to be for political reasons. And teachers are exhausted and depressed by the fact that we cannot give the education system that our students deserve to them.
Certainly. Is the government trying to achieve too much with the runway that it sets staff like yourself?
Definitely. It's not possible to do 3 or 4 sets of major change simultaneously. And we've already been having major change going on with the changes taking place in the NCEA system. This has now just all been stopped. It's been thrown in the air. We've been told there'll be a totally different system. The ministry has not had any notification in advance, in a way that allowed them to prepare to support us with this situation. Ministry staff have been cut back massively. The support is not there for the level of change that is being sought, nor has the consultation taken place to get this change right.
Give us a sense. I've been to Porirua College before. It's fair to say it's predominantly, in terms of the role, it's Pasifika based, which is awesome. Give us a sense of what all of this means, the strike action, the incoming reform, what it means for your Pasifika students, but also your staff as well.
Well, we've got a lot of Pasifika students. We're majority Pasifika and most of the rest are Māori, and a lot of our staff are also Pasifika. We have been setting out to create a local curriculum with subjects like Mātauranga o e Moana. We're the only school in the country, I believe, delivering the Tokelauan NCEA standards that our teachers helped write. We're trying to create a strong curriculum that is within students' cultures where they can learn as who they are. Their curriculum changes and the assessment changes are deliberately designed to stop that sort of curriculum. They're going to set traditional subjects that are the only ones that will be assessed so that we can't have this different sort of learning. I think there's a lack of recognition that Aotearoa is a multicultural society and that is our future, and that learning within our different cultures is a really important part of who we are. This is a step back to some remembered New Zealand of the politicians' past.
Wow, that's it. Wow. Look, I just want to pick up on that point. In terms of, give me a sense of teacher retention at the moment for a unique school like yours and a unique community that you serve. Do you have a good teacher retention, or does turnover affect students and staff?
Because we're such a strong school and we're in such a good place and have such committed staff, our retention is not a major issue. But you always get turnover in schools just because of change that happens in people's lives, people retiring, moving overseas, whatever it might be. What the issue is not that we can't keep the staff who are with us, but that when staff inevitably leave, it's really hard to replace them with quality staff. Over the last years, we have been consistently told to recruit teachers from overseas. But what do teachers from overseas know about Pacific and Māori culture? What do they know about how to relate to our young people? It's a huge learning gap for them when we have to bring people in from South Africa or the Philippines, which we've had to do over previous years. We want New Zealand trained New Zealand teachers who understand our young people, who are from the cultures of our young people. And to do that, we need good remuneration and conditions, and that's not what we're being offered.
What would a fair deal look like to you, one that both attracts and retains teachers?
Oh, I'd be quite happy with what the politicians are on, of about 2.8%. I think that was very reasonable.
Yeah, certainly. That's a good point. I would too. Look, let's, we had the Deputy Prime Minister David Seymour on yesterday arguing that we're in tough economic times. We just don't have the bandwidth to be offering teachers and staff what they would like. What do you say to an excuse like that?
I'd say that when you take that into account with your own pay, I'll take you seriously.
That's a really good point. Hey, look, give us a sense of how the community, of course, is faring today in terms of basically because of the strike action. A community responding well to that?
Oh, look, our community are incredibly supportive of teachers and of education. They understand the importance of it for their young people. So they're completely supportive. Kids were saying to me as I left yesterday, good luck with your strike, miss. It's really nice. So we feel very supported. The teachers are running around outside. I can see them now getting ready to go down and picket to carry the, message out to our community and to be there on the streets, helping them understand what we're doing and why we're doing it and why it's in the interests of our students that we stand up for education.
What do you say finally just to Erica Stanford, Education Minister, also to Judith Collins, who got her wires tangled when it comes to teachers' salaries? What do you say to all the policy makers and decision makers today?
If you want a high quality education system, start listening to people working in education who know what we're talking about.
Couldn't agree more. That is Porirua College Principal Ragne Maxwell. Thank you so much for your time and all the best with today as well.
Kia ora.
You're listening to Pacific Morning.